This is our final webinar for the fall term, and I know I just sent out messages to many of you about that, so we're happy to see that so many of you have joined us today. Today we're going to be discussing in great detail about the University of Florida and all of our programs in the Herbert Wertheim College of Engineering for both master's and PhD programs. We have students online today that are applicants. Some of you have already applied for the spring 2025 term. Some of you for spring have already heard and been admitted to our programs, and we hope that you join us here in 2 short months. Some of you have applied and are still waiting to hear. And then we have students online that have applied for fall 2025 term. Most of you would not have heard that admissions decision yet, as that's just beginning now, and those decisions come later in December, mostly in January, February onward. And then we have a lot of prospects today. Students that are very interested in University of Florida, but you're coming online today to learn more, to fully decide that if you would like to apply to one of our master's or PhD programs. So we welcome all of you today, and we're excited that you're here. We have a tremendous group of our staff in engineering and across campus, our International Center, and a great group of some of our current master's and PhD students. So we're going to be able to answer all those questions you have and provide you a lot of advice and guidance. So first off, these slides have been posted this morning. Krista has posted those, so they're on the website now. They're in the exact same place where you went to register an RSVP for this webinar. So do not feel like you need to write all of these areas down because the slides are posted. And then Dallas will post the recordings. That will probably need to give us a day or two, but then those recordings will be posted in the exact same spot. We've run many webinars this fall term, and all of the other webinars, those slides and recordings are posted out there too. We have a different group of graduate staff and students that are panelists on each of these. So if you want to review some of the others, then you're absolutely welcome to do that. Okay, so what I'd like to do now is let's start with some introductions. So let me pull the slides up here. And can everybody see those, Krista, Dallas?
Yep, all good.
All good. Okay. All right. So first off, if you've not registered as a prospective graduate student with our Herbert Wertheim College of Engineering, then please do that. I know many of you have already done this. This is different than RSVPing for the webinar. If you're a master's prospect or if you're a PhD prospect, then take a screenshot of these. Go on to this site. If you've already applied, then you do not need to do this. This is for those that have not applied yet. This is also how we issue application fee waivers, and I know many of you have already received those. So we'll start with the introduction. So Associate Dean Toshi Nishida, he's also for Academic Affairs, which oversees all of the academics for the graduate programs, master's students, PhD students, the faculty that teaches those courses. He's also a professor in electrical and computer engineering. He's not here attending today, but I wanted you to know for the administrator that's in charge of all areas. My name is Mike Nazareth, so I help direct graduate recruitment for the college along with all of our departments and our staff and our faculty. And many of you have heard from me for a while, especially through email and in application fee waivers.
Hi, everyone. My name is Krista Smith, and I'm the Assistant Director of Graduate Recruiting for the Herbert Wertheim College of Engineering. Super excited to see so many of you joining us today. Thank you so much. We're really excited to share our information with you about our college and our graduate programs. I'm also a former graduate advisor for the Biomedical Engineering Department, so I'll be filling in that role to talk about a little bit about BME and answer some of your questions specific to that department.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dallas Pedersen. I'm the program coordinator here for the grad recruitment program at the Herbert Wertheim College of Engineering. I'm very excited to have you all here with me today, along with Mike and Krista. I just want to say thank you guys for putting up with all of my emails from myself and Zoom. I know there's been a lot of communication from us, but we really do have an exciting program for you here today, and we're really excited to have you. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Martine Angren, Director F1 International Student Services. I have a team of 8 F1 advisors who are here to assist you should you choose to attend UF.
Good morning, I'm Christina Sapp. I work with the CISE department. I do the graduate admissions and the recruiting for our department. So I handle the master's and PhD. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Pam Simon with Engineering Education. I do the graduate recruiting and the admissions for the master's and PhD program for our department.
Hi, everyone. My name is Julissa Nunez, and I'm the Graduate Admissions Officer for the Electrical and Computer Engineering Department. So I'll be here to answer any questions on behalf of ECE, and welcome.
Hi, everyone. My name is Paula Jones. I'm the Academic Program Specialist for SE, which has Civil, Coastal, and Environmental Engineering Sciences programs. And you are welcome to reach out to me on my email listed below.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jordan Sharpshire, and I'm the Graduate Academic Advisor in the Department of Industrial and Systems Engineering, or ISE. So I handle advising for our department's graduate degree programs, as well as also the kind of admissions process and application process as well.
Hi, everyone. My name is Brittany Guerriere. I'm the Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering Graduate Admissions Advisor. So if you have any questions related to admissions, I'd be happy to answer your questions. My email is here as well. And it's lovely to have you all here.
Hi, everyone. My name is Allison Beatty. I'm actually speaking in for Tahara Franklin. We both represent material science engineering as well as nuclear engineering. Our email is below, and we handle graduate admissions, graduate questions, and the application process. We also handle undergraduate, which is why Tahara is trying to cover those undergraduates right now for us with registration. So we'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Hello, everyone. My name is Wumboy Gashunda. I'm a second-year biomedical engineering PhD student here at the University of Florida.
Hi there, I'm a graduate student at the University of Florida, currently pursuing my master's degree in applied data science. I joined this program fall 2024 semester.
Hi, everyone. I'm Deepal Haldar. I'm a third-year PhD student at the ECU department.
Hi everyone, I'm Edith. I'm a fourth-year PhD student in Industrial and Systems Engineering department.
Hi, my name is Dochul Kwak, and I'm a first-year PhD student. My major is chemical engineering, and I'm from South Korea. So if you have any question afterward, please contact me by email. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Thomason. I'm a PhD student, my second year in the Human-Centered Computing PhD program in the Computer Science department.
Hello. Oh my gosh. Hello, everyone. My name is Jasmine Smith. I'm a doctoral candidate in the engineering education department, but I did start my doctoral program initially in the biomedical engineering department. I switched to engineering education as of January 2023.
Hi all, my name is Devani Tyagarajan and I'm a first year master student majoring in applied data science. I'm from India, and if you guys any doubt, feel free to reach out. My email ID is here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So, so as you can see, we just have a tremendous amount of our staff and our students here today. So I'm very happy that we have almost 20 panelists online. And these are really the experts. So for our graduate staff, for all of you that have applied or considering applying, your applications is going to go directly to these individuals. And there is nobody more knowledgeable in our entire Herbert Wertheim College of Engineering than these individuals when it comes to the application, what you need to submit, what you need to do, and the entire admissions process. They would actually send you the admissions offers letters. So we have them here today, and then we have many graduate students. We have some that are brand new that started this semester, some that are later in their career and their 4+ years and everything in between. So what we're going to do at this time, we want to make the best use of everybody's time. So everybody can start asking your questions now. You can put your questions in the Q&A. It would probably be helpful if you address the questions either to the name of the person that you want to answer it or by major. So if you're chemical engineering, put for chemi. If you're computer science, for CS, etc., so that all 20 are not trying to answer. If it's a more general question, something about housing or living in Gainesville or anything along these lines, then you can address it and multiple people answer. So go ahead and start doing that. And our experts, our team will answer your questions from this point onward throughout the remainder of the webinar. There's just one question that we have for you, and that's one poll question. So Dallas, if you could put that poll question up now. And this is just for us to gauge your interest a little more about if you're definitely applying or where you're at with your interest level for University of Florida. So please answer that question, and then Dallas will take that poll down when she feels the majority of you have answered. So I will begin with going through some slides for those of you that don't know much about our university to enlighten you a little bit more. And again, if you're just joining us now, because we have hundreds of students online, all of these slides are already posted on our website. They're in the exact same places where you registered for the webinar, and the recordings will be posted within a day or two. So do not feel like you need to write all of this down. So for those of you new to our campus or just hearing about it, maybe from one of our emails or visiting one of our websites, the University of Florida is quite large. It's one of the largest public universities in the entire United States of America. We have more than 60,000 students. We span almost 1,000 buildings, over thousands of acres. We're kind of like a 10 by 10 city blocks just filled with campus buildings, outdoor areas, trees, grassy areas, social areas, businesses, and it's a lovely academic and social and cultural community. We're not just focused on undergraduate students. So some of the institutions in the US that are very large are very undergraduate based. We are also heavily graduate based. 1/3 of our campus are graduate students, master's students, PhD students, professional students. And so you will have an environment that caters to what each and every one of you are looking for. We have many colleges in almost every area, law and medical expanding in case you have collaboration that you're interested in beyond just engineering or computing, and a great deal of faculty to go along with that. We have lots of research dollars, and that's super important because that ultimately is what helps to pay for the faculty, for the labs, for the research projects, for the PhD student funding, and other areas that impacts all of you and what you would be working on if you come here to University of Florida. So we're very large as a university, but we're also very large and can have a great deal of offerings for you for our Herbert Wertheim College of Engineering. And our College of Engineering does include computing. Some of the institutions in America, those are separate, but for us, those are combined. It includes computer science. It includes computer engineering. It includes artificial intelligence. It includes applied data science, etc. So all of that is all encompassing. It includes all the area of biomedical engineering and those interfaces. They have collaboration with the hospital and the College of Medicine, but we include all of that. We have over 11,000 students, so we're nearly 20% of University of Florida. So a very large enterprise, and we can offer a lot for you. Again, with the split within our engineering college, we are a great deal of graduate students, 1/3. So we're not just focused on the undergrad. We have a lot of emphasis for new and continuing master's and PhD students. All of you are interested in one or maybe two areas, and sometimes I see prospective students that are interested in 3 areas. So we offer master's and PhD in all of these areas. There's a few on here where it's just master's or singularly just PhD, but we're we have a wide breadth of offerings, and you can apply to 2. So some students apply to multiple degrees, like for say, a master's in material science engineering and a master's in chemical engineering, or a PhD in electrical engineering and a PhD in computer science engineering. If you apply for more than one, then that goes to 2 separate admissions committees Separate faculty review those credentials. Separate graduate staff would pull all of your documents and applications together, and then separate decisions. You could get admitted to both. You could get admitted to one and not the other. And then you would have to make a decision on which you would plan to enroll in, because ultimately you can only enroll in one. And if you get application fee waiver, you can use it twice. So the code does not end. You can submit one application with the code and then prepare another application and submit it. That link there, if you have not clicked on that, lists all of the specific areas of specialization. I know many of you have already looked at those, but there's more than 500 areas of specialization that exist within our Herbert Wertheim College of Engineering, and that list grows a little bit more every single year. We do well at rankings. I try to tell students not to get focused on any one ranking because there's so many rankings now. I wouldn't be surprised if there's 100 or several hundred different rankings. 20 years ago, there was only prominently 2 or 3 rankings, but there's a bunch now. But the point that I like to make is the University of Florida is in many rankings, and many rankings we're in the top 5 or the top 10. Here's a few recent rankings that I put up here. They span across academics, so the quality of your courses and the enrichment that you're going to receive for your specific expertise will be there. We rank high in economic products, so we are not the most expensive institution in the U.S. We're ranked consistently as being very economical, so very reasonable for our costs for the product you receive. We're also ranked as one of the top public universities for our social events, for our activity, etc. So we span across these rankings, and I think that's a testament to the product that we're trying to pitch for all of you and your interest in our programs. I showed earlier where we have nearly 1,000 buildings across campus. We have a lot in engineering. I think we're closer to 65 buildings now, and this is important because the old model of spending time just in one building really is not as prevalent anymore. You'll spend time in multiple buildings for your interests in graduate programs, and we have that infrastructure here. With so many buildings, you're going to see a little bit of everything. Some of our buildings are over 100 years old. Some of our buildings just opened this year, and everything in between. So we have quite an array that varies for all of the different kinds of activities that we have here on our campus. 2 of our newer buildings that I like to highlight. One is the Herbert Wertheim Laboratory for Engineering Excellence. This is a building that's about maybe 4 years old. This is kind of the catalyst of new engineering buildings on our campus, where it's not just for one major. This building spans multiple majors for students across our college. It spans for students that are undergrads and grads. It has faculty office spaces. It has laboratory spaces. It has spaces for undergraduate students and graduate students, for projects, for collaborative spaces, etc. So this is kind of the newer type of building that we're looking at going forward. And then, of course, this is the latest building, and this is probably the most technological building for information technology anywhere in the United States. It had a soft opening 1 year ago, last fall, and then an official opening just in January, where we started teaching our first courses. This is the Malachowski Hall for Data Science and Information Technology. This is more than $150 million building. We received a large donation from our alumni who works with NVIDIA and the CEO of NVIDIA. And so that has helped to push things forward. Our CISE department, our ECE department have moved into here. There's other divisions on campus like the College of Medicine and the College of Pharmacy, and spaces for students all over to use this and to have the latest infrastructure. We've always had one of the fastest supercomputers in higher education in the United States with the Hypergator. But with this donation, we improved and updated the core. So now it is probably one of the fastest, was the fastest in Southeast United States. Now it's the fastest in all of higher education in the United States, powered by NVIDIA. And a lot of graduate students use this. They have access to this with their faculty, with their projects. for high-end supercomputing, and almost every type of PhD student, many graduate students will have some sort of research that would be involved with that. And so we have that here now, and we're proud to have that here as University of Florida, as we want to be known as AI University. And AI is being embedded across all of our majors, not just in engineering and computing, but all colleges across campus. So you'll hear lots more about this, and I'm sure you already are as we go forward. We also have quite a bit of areas for technology, innovation, entrepreneurship, leadership. So if these areas interest you, you can kind of combine some of these and overlap these with your master's degree or your PhD degree. You can just simply take a course in that can impact what you're doing with your major, especially if you have any aspirations later going on to business or tech transfer or patents or any of these areas. But you could also, if you want it to be more official and you want it listed on your degree, like a certificate, if you want a certificate of entrepreneurship or leadership, then we have a process for that here. You need to take 3 short courses. Some of those courses can overlap with your existing master's or PhD degree, so it shouldn't extend the amount of time you need to be here. And then that would be listed on your degree. And this could certainly help when you're going out for jobs and your career aspirations. So do know that we offer that here, and we are very diverse. We're very proud of this in Florida. We have students from all over the state of Florida. We have students from all over the United States, and all of you, most of you today, this was an international webinar for master's and PhD prospects and applicants. So most of you are from all over the globe, although we know a few students that are US citizens are also joining us today just for their timing and their schedules. So we have lots of students from all over within our college and certainly within our university, so you really get a diverse education if you come here to University of Florida. So that's what I wanted to start off with after introductions, just a little more in-depth and detail for an overview. Since we do have mostly international students online today, it's very appropriate that we have Martine from the International Center. So I'll turn the next few minutes over to her for all of the details that you need to know.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. And we're going to take a few minutes to go over a little bit about F1 requirements and the I-20. So there's a lot of information on our website, a lot more than we'll be able to cover today, and a lot of which is important to your status as an F1. Again, we're going to highlight the most important things today, which includes your I-20 application, maintaining status, registration requirements, and employment restrictions. But please scan the QR code to land on our website and then go through especially these areas. If you don't go through them, soon, take a screenshot of this and make sure you actually click on these important topics on our website for you to have a good foundation for your F1 status. All right, so for 2025, if you're applying as an F1 student for the F1 visa to enter the US and study, then the need for you is to apply for an I-20 before you can apply for your visa. The I-20 will require proof of funds along with some other documents. The proof of funds for the 2025 year minimum is $57,555. These numbers change from year to year, but it's not expected to change for next year. Now, if you have the Achievement Award, then you are only required to show $53,055. This is in USD, so your proof of funds must be in English. All the requirements are in the I-20 application. And of course, show us the balance in the account and the currency type. So the I-20 application is going to be initiated by the academic department that admits the student. When the academic department initiates that request, they'll let us know if you have any funding. Then our office will review that. And then if you have funding, we'll modify how much you have to show. And then we'll send you an email that lets you know what you need to do for your I-20 application. That email will go to the same email address you use to apply to UF. A lot of students either created a temporary email address and stopped looking at it, or they don't create their Gator link yet. So we want to emphasize the same email address that you use to apply to UF is where our instructions will go. If you created your Gator link before you get that email, the email may go to either your personal email or your Gator link. So please check both. Check your junk mail, your spam, your inbox, check everywhere. You'll receive that email with the instructions for the I-20, and we want to emphasize that after you do each individual questionnaire, you can save or click submit for that individual questionnaire. After you upload your documents, those are saved, but your actual application itself is not submitted until you scroll back to the top and click on Submit Application. So the smaller buttons that say Save or Submit are for individual questionnaires. And then when you know you're done, scroll to the top and click on the big button at the top that says Submit Application. Until you click on that, your application is not in queue. So we want to emphasize that that is necessary. Once your application is submitted and is in queue, your F1 advisor will review that. If everything is good, we'll issue the I-20. If something is missing, they will revert and let you know what's missing. When you click Submit Application, you will get a big green box that says, thank you for submitting on this date at this time. Your F1 advisor will review. If you don't see that big green box, you did not submit. If you're having problems in one browser, check another, okay? Once the I-20 is issued, you will receive an email that lets you know it's ready, and you will have instructions on how to download it from the portal. So there will not be a mailing of any document. We are able to provide this to you electronically for you to then print and for you to hand sign and take the printed paper version to the embassy for your appointment. Next slide. Once you have your I-20, you'll be able to pay the SEVIS fee. That is a government fee requirement. That's not for us, doesn't come to us. And then once you pay your SEVIS fee, you'll then be able to make your appointment. You'll have to complete the DS-160 visa application form on the website of the consulate office where you will apply for your visa, and also be able to schedule your F1 visa appointment. Make sure you are applying for the F1 visa if you intend to apply and become an F1 student. Among other documents that you'll need, which are going to be listed on that consulate's website, you have to have your printed I-20, your admission letter, which also if that was emailed to you, needs to be printed, your proof of funds, and your passport. Anything else, the embassy or consulate office will list of what you need to bring. Once you obtain your F1 visa, you can then schedule your flight. Some students will tell us, I've already scheduled it. They don't have their visa yet. We do not recommend that. So wait till you obtain your visa, then schedule your flight. You'll be able to enter the US up to 30 days prior to your program start date. The program start date for example, spring 25 is January 13th, or for fall 25 is August 21st. So you'll be able to enter up to 30 days prior to that if you have your visa already. Once you enter, you must complete our mandatory ISS UFIC online check-in. It's no longer in person, and it is required. If you don't do that check-in, we cannot validate the arrival and then your subsequent registration. You're also required to register full-time for classes, and we'll talk about what full-time registration is. So as you travel to Gainesville, make sure to keep all of the documents on your person, not packed away in your checked luggage. So your I-20, admission letter, F1 visa, your passport, your proof of funds, all of these things must be carried on your person, okay? We also recommend that you scan them just in case something is lost. Of course, your I-20 technically is never lost because it's always stored in your ISSS portal, and you'll be able to download that at any time. You may, again, enter the US up to 30 days in advance. Now, keep in mind, the housing on campus or even around campus, anywhere in Gainesville that has student living, they typically are leased through the end of July or through the end of December, considering students graduate early August or by December. So we recommend that maybe you may not want to arrive more than about a week or 15 days before classes start, depending on where you're looking to live, okay? Next slide. All right, so again, our check-in is also online in the same portal, the ISSS portal that you use to apply for your I-20. You actually can start that as soon as we issue your I-20, but you cannot finish it until after you arrive. There's one document that you will be issued electronically by the port of entry officers, and that will be the final document needed. So we recommend going ahead and starting that check-in after you receive your I-20, so that once you arrive, you just have one document left to upload. All of that needs to be done before the drop-add deadline. Classes start And then the drop add deadline is typically 3 to 5 business days later. Make sure that your check-in is completed before the drop add is done. There are quite a few of critical dates and deadlines that the university has and that we have for F1s. You have to be mindful of all of these. Please scan the QR code so that you can see the UF critical dates calendar. Your F1 critical dates are all need to be met by the drop add deadline. So that's in line with that. So regular registration is prior to classes starting. If you don't register until the first day of classes, you will have a late fee. If you don't register or complete your registration until the drop add is done, you'll also have a late fee. So all of that is time given to you to one, register and change your registration if you find that you like a class at a better time or a different class that's being offered. So now, as far as fee payment deadlines, of course, the university would like you to pay your fees in full, but we tell students that if for some reason you're waiting on your family to transfer the funds to you or your scholarship to come through, pay at least something so that your classes are not canceled. A nominal amount. If you have a $5,000 fee due and you go in and pay $500, your classes will not be canceled, and therefore your F1 status will continue to be upheld while you continue paying towards your classes, okay? That's very important for our students to consider. Next slide. All right, full-time registration for graduate students every fall, every spring is 9 credits. Out of those 9 credits, at least 6 must be physical presence, and the other 3 can be any variety, physical presence or online, hybrid, for example. Summer registration is not necessarily required unless there are some other stipulations, such as if you were admitted to start in that summer, graduating in that summer, have an assistantship in that summer, have an internship in that summer. So there are some other requirements that apply to the summer if and only if those stipulations also apply. But every fall, every spring is required until you graduate. Now, employment on the campus. You are allowed to work on the UF campus as an F1 up to 20 hours per week maximum. You would get paid every 2 weeks, but your work week is the regulation about employment is by the work week. And typically the work week is Friday to Thursday. Some areas on campus may have a Monday to Friday. So please check with your supervisor, what is the actual work week, and make sure you follow that order and do not exceed 20 hours per week, okay? You're not allowed to work off campus at all until you have completed your full academic year. And prior to working off campus, you must apply for and receive authorization from your F1 advisor. So that does not come from your academic department or anyone else. It only comes from your F1 advisor for anything off campus, okay? And it's not just verbal, it is a written authorization on your I-20. So while you're in your program, that authorization is called CPT, Curricular Practical Training. And if it is after you graduate, that authorization is called OPT, Optional Practical Training. These are 2 different applications. There's a lot more information on our website. And we also have at least 4 workshops that we do every year about CPT, OPT, and other employment authorizations that you can apply for. Next slide. All right, so as I mentioned earlier, we have F1 advisors here to help you. There are 8 advisors at this time. We have over 6,000 students, so the math is pretty easy there that we're averaging somewhere around 800 or so students per advisor. Therefore, we're always trying to be as efficient as possible to help you, and therefore we want to make sure that you also apply for anything that you need at least 2 to 4 weeks in advance so that we have time to review and assist. Your advisor is based on your surname. However, we have one email system. Therefore, you're not worried about really which advisor to email as much as making sure that you email us through our contact form, and then your advisor will specifically assist you by answering your email. Again, briefly covering everything we just talked about. At this point, if you're choosing to attend University of Florida or any university, you would need an I-20, and we hope that you definitely choose UF. Your application will be through the ISSS portal. Make sure that you upload your proof of funds, that you save all of your questionnaires, and then when you're done, that you scroll back to the top to click Submit Application so that you are in queue for us to review and process. Thank you for the opportunity to be here, and we hope to see you in Gator Nation.
Okay, thank you so much, Martine. So yes, we have a very busy and active webinar today. I can see nearly 100 questions have been answered, and there's more in the queue. So continue to ask your questions. You can be as specific as you like. It is helpful if you list which major or department so the right staff and graduate students know which to answer, or if you remember by name and address them by name so we can keep that going. Again, the slides are posted, so you do not need to write all this down. Okay, what I'd like to do now is shift and talk about our master's programs and ask, we have 2 master's students online today, and give them each a chance to talk, and perhaps 1 or 2 of our graduate staff that have large master's application populations. So here are the specific numbers that I have on the screen now. That we had over 4,000 applications for masters across our entire college for this fall. We admitted 55% of them, and we had 680 that were enrolling. That's the average GPA, but since most of you online today are international students, that usually doesn't equate to exactly your scale system in your country. But we're familiar with most of these scales because we have students across the globe every year. The GRE is waived for all of our departments except for computer science. So if you're applying for any area beyond computer science and you do not need to take the GRE, you do not need to send us those scores. As far as next fall, from what I've heard, we don't have any specific limit or specific number. If we go back over 10 years, we've received between 4,000 and 6,000 master's applications. We're not sure what we're going to have for this fall. When I downloaded the applications yesterday morning, there was close to 900, but the bulk of the applications start coming in now and into January. So we have set a priority application deadline of January 5th. So we would like all of you who have yet to apply by that time. The application will not shut off at that time. It will continue to go. But if you wait beyond that, then it is going to take us longer to get back to you because, again, we have thousands of applications. So I encourage you not to go beyond that unless you absolutely have no choice with your schedule and whatever else is going on in your particular circumstance. You'll need to submit the application, letters of recommendation, etc. I have something new from TOEFL that I just received in this last week. We've been listed as one of their preferred institutions, so they provided us this $40 off the TOEFL test. So if you've not taken the TOEFL or you need to take it again, there are minimum scores you need in order to enroll at University of Florida. We have university rules and guidelines on that. Then we posted that right here for you in the slides with the code. You can use that. There's no limit. So that would save you a few dollars, and we're happy to pass that along to you. What I'd like to do now, how about we have Devanye in our Applied Data Science program. You're a new master's student. You went through the application process. What comments do you have for people, prospects online, or guidance that would be helpful after you went through this?
I would say just put in what you did, like give whatever you have done just honestly, and then if you're so good at it, then I think we'll get admitted. It's not a big issue, I guess. I also gave my GRE, but it was not necessary, and then I gave my IELTS, and then I got 3 letters of recommendations from my professor, undergrad professors, and then I did my statement of purpose. That's all I did.
Okay, thank you. So we will have Swetha talk in just 1 second here. Let me do this slide. So many of you have received application fee waivers. Several of you in the chat are still asking about those. So we do have these across most departments for masters except for computer science. And the reasoning for that is that's the most popular area for master's applications, and we're already receiving thousands, more than we can possibly admit or bring on. So we're not encouraging thousands more in that area. We're certainly encourage anybody who's interested in that area to apply. The admissions application fee is quite reasonable. It is only $30 US. Most American institutions, it is $100 to $150 or more. Ours has not gone up in price for more than 10 years. So if you do need to pay the fee, do know that it's reasonable. So if you complete any of those scan codes at the beginning of the webinar or the links we put in the chat, then you'll automatically be considered for master's application fee waiver. Most international students, but not all, receive those. And then some U.S. citizens or permanent residents, and that goes by department. But we've had a few other categories for UF students where we have started to provide those. Okay, Swetha, you recently applied to the master's program and are here now. Do you have any advice or guidance for new master's applicants?
I would say that I applied during, I applied for the fall 2024. So I applied around November or December, and I saw a lot of questions asking when will we get the admit result. I got it around Jan end or Feb beginning. So it depends from, it varies from time to time. But yeah, other than that, yes, Devani told, I did the same thing. We had the, we required 3 letter of recommendations. I got it from the undergrad professors and prepared a SOP, which is fully focused on my interest, which align with the University of Florida research. And yeah, that's it.
Okay, thank you. So as far as hearing from admit, so there are a few students that have heard, most should have heard now for spring, if you applied for spring. If not, please get a hold of your specific department graduate staff to get updates on that. We are getting very late for the spring term though, especially for international students who would have to get I-20s and visa. For the fall, we have a few admits that have gone through in November. Mostly they're deferred from previously, but a few have started to go through. They'll really start picking up in December, January, February, and then March if there's the last one. So that's kind of the time frame for the bulk of the admissions. It's the same whether you're applying for the on-campus programs to come to Gainesville or for the online. We do have online for some of our areas. But we will offer some webinars in the spring strictly for those that are admitted, and we'll tailor all of our remarks to those areas. So we have on-campus and online degrees for the master's program. It's usually 4 semesters. Some can do it in a little bit less, especially if they're a UF undergrad. But it usually starts around the 2nd or 3rd week of August and goes to early December in the fall for 16 weeks. And then our spring term is into the 1st week or so of January and wraps up at the end of April. And most of the master's students are not here in the summer. They go and do internships, and we can assist with that. The online is the same, except you're not here. You can watch the courses live or re-record them. If you're working, you watch them later that night. And then some just take classes for more skill set. And then others want to stay for the PhD and they do some research while they're here. Most of master students do pay their own way at University of Florida, but we do have the Guaranteed Academic Achievement Award. We can give out as many as we want. We have no limit. So any international student or non-Florida resident, if you're in another state in Florida, you would automatically receive this. If you apply masters, you're admitted and you enroll. There's nothing else you need to do. There's no application. We do it for you. So if you're admitted and you come, you'll get $1,500 off your tuition for 3 straight semesters. So it's a small something we can do. Most institutions in the US do not provide any kind of funding for the master's students, so we try to give a little bit back. If you're doing the online, the cost is considerably less because you don't move here. So you can see some of the costs here. We cost considerably less than some of the other top public institutions, and the cost of living in town is less. And that link right there will give the estimated graduate costs. I'm going to go to Christina Sapp now. In our CISE department, we receive a tremendous amount of master's applications, and let her talk about whatever she feels is most important for you.
So for our master students, we generally get roughly close to 2,000 applications for the fall. So I start very early, starting to get them ready for our faculty to review. we do have the new priority deadline, as Mike stated earlier. So we will start our review process earlier. I have a lot of questions on here about, when the application process starts and whatnot, when decisions go out. Our decisions, because our PhDs review starts in December as well. So generally, we start getting ours out of around February, March. It's important to do a statement of purpose for your master's, to do 2 to 3 letters of recommendations. The GRE is required. We are the only department that requires it. And then for our PhD program, we do not require the GRE. However, we do require the TOEFL or the IELTS score if your country's not exempt. I've had one other thing real quick, Mike, and I'm about to finish up. Some of you have asked about reaching out to professors. If you're in the master's program or PhD program with us, do not reach out to any professors. Our professors have access to all of your applications and will reach out to you if they're interested in talking with you. So please be mindful of that. They do have a lot going on. They don't need 2,000 students messaging them. So go to our website, look at our requirements, and if you meet our criteria, please apply, and I'll get decisions out as soon as I can. Thanks, Mike.
Okay, thank you. So I'm just going to give an opportunity for one more graduate staff to talk. So if one of you who has a lot of master's apps would like to speak now, we'll do that. And then we're going to move on. Krista will take over and we'll move into those of you for the PhD. So is there any additional grad staff who'd like to talk about masters?
I can chime in.
Okay, go ahead, Jalissa.
So this is specifically for the ECE department. Our department right now only offers a Master of Science program. I think there's some confusion because I think somewhere online, not on our website, but maybe on another website, there's a Master of Engineering. So just so you're aware, we only offer a Master of Science non-thesis program, and you do have the opportunity to switch to the thesis program if you're accepted and begin the program. For the application, please be sure to check our website for all of our requirements. We do not require the GRE. Submitting GRE scores is discouraged simply because if you do not meet the university requirements, it can negatively impact your application. So I would strongly suggest for departments that do not require the GRE, don't send them in. To be fair to all applicants, we wouldn't review them either way. Make sure that you submit your letters of recommendation, the recommender information prior to submitting the application. It doesn't usually let you go back in and change them or add them afterwards. I think it might give you a opportunity to update them, but not add them in, something like that. So just make sure that that's done prior to submitting your application, and then just emphasizing to go on the website and make sure you review each department's requirements as they may vary.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, let's change topics now and go over to the PhD program and then other aspects of Gainesville and student life. So I'm going to turn the table over to Krista now.
All right, thank you, Mike. Right, we'll start with going over the different pathways to the PhD that UF engineering graduate programs offer. I would say probably the most typical one is a direct entry from bachelor's degrees. I could be wrong, but I know a lot of our departments accept students directly from the bachelor's degree. And that typically takes 4.5 to 5 years, because essentially what you're doing is you're starting off with coursework and you're working towards the equivalent of a master's degree first, and then finishing with your research, which usually culminates in about the 5th year. There is an option for students who have a prior master's degree to apply for the PhD as well, which in theory will shorten your time to degree by maybe a year and a half. And the reason for that is because you've probably taken most, if not all, of your required coursework. And the UF Graduate School will accept courses for transfer. There's a couple of different methods for doing that, but your graduate advisor will be the person who assists you with that. You will not need to do much. You just communicate with them about the courses you would like to apply for transfer. If you are a UF student and you have completed a master's degree here, Same timeline usually applies, average of 3 to 4 years. You're getting a little bit of a head start on research and coursework. And if you're undergrad here from UF and continuing on, maybe even more of a head start if you're staying with the same research lab. Next slide. Okay, so last year, just to give you an idea of what admissions looked like last year for the PhD programs, may provide some insight for this year. We had a little over 2,000 applications total, and we admitted 20% of our applicants. And of those, 41% enrolled. So we had 176 enrolling for the fall 2024 term. The average cumulative GPA on a US scale, 4.0 scale, was 3.56, with international English proficiency test scores 80 or above for TOEFL and 6 or above for IELTS. Check your departmental requirements though, because some individual departments may require what is higher than the university requires. I believe those scores there are the university standard, but your department may require something higher. The application requirements are pretty standard, the same pretty much as the master's program. You would apply online to the Office of Admissions, and your application would then be routed to each department and reviewed by the departments and recommended for an admission decision to the graduate school and the Office of Admissions. Some departments do offer PhD application fee waivers for international students. I know most of you are international students here on this webinar, so I think on the next slide, we will show a little bit more detailed information about that. And who to contact for that information. The priority deadline for PhD applications for everyone in the college is December 5th. And I would encourage you to submit your application requirements as soon as you can by that deadline or very shortly thereafter, because I know some departments do start reviewing applications the very next day after the deadline. You actually do not need to submit official transcripts at the beginning for your application review. You can submit unofficial transcripts first, but then if you are offered admission and accept, you will need to submit official transcripts to the Office of Admissions to complete the admission process. We require 3 letters of recommendation, if possible, on official university or institutional letterhead. A statement of purpose, which may or may not have specific direction. Some departments just require a general statement of purpose. Some have specific questions or objectives they would like you to answer when submitting that. So make sure again to check with your department and their websites to see if they have any specific requirements for that. As of a point of note, if you've already applied, I know many of you have, the UF application, when you're submitting your statement of purpose, recommends a 500-word statement of purpose, and you do not need to adhere to that. I get a lot of questions about, it's really hard for me to describe all the things that I want to describe and talk about in my statement of purpose in 500 words. That's not very much. You can submit a longer statement of purpose, so don't worry, it's not going to cut you off or not go through because of a length requirement. As we mentioned in the master's section, we do have a discount code for the TOEFL if you need to take that for admission purposes. That website there will lead you to the code. And the GRE for PhD programs is waived for all departments. So we do not require the GRE. And as Julissa was talking about in the master's section, generally speaking, I would say just to be sure, check with your department, but I would discourage you from submitting GRE scores because most departments are not going to accept those for review because not all students are submitting them, and we want to make things as equal as possible. Next slide. Okay, So as I mentioned, this is the more detailed information about application fee waiver availability by department. So you can see there for international students, we do have the majority of our departments provide fee waivers. So if you are still waiting to apply and still do not have a fee waiver, please reach out to your department. You can also visit one of those websites down there below. If your department does not provide an application fee waiver, as Mike noted, we do have one of the most economical and low-cost application fees in the country. Next slide. Students are fully funded with a stipend that is a 4 to 5 year award, depending on the length of your program, that's renewable each year based on student evaluations. So every student is evaluated in your department and a recommendation is made to the college on whether or not to continue your assistantship. A benefit, or benefits, I should say, of assistantships are one, a tuition waiver, which is obviously quite helpful. You will be responsible for some student fees, but your tuition would be waived. You would receive health insurance and other benefits. And the stipend for UF engineering graduate programs is competitive compared to the cost of living here in Gainesville at a minimum of $32K annually. Some students do come into their programs with fellowships or external support from government agencies or a whole host of possibilities. There is a possibility for extra funding in the form of a top-off, is what we call it. If you have those, check with your department to see if you have external funding that qualifies. And additionally, UF had a few fellowships internally that you may be interested in applying for. And a couple of those examples are listed there, the McKnight Fellowship and the Bridge to Doctorate. If you have any questions about those, feel free to reach out to our office or your graduate staff and they can answer those questions for you. Next slide. Okay, so if you are admitted to the PhD program, you may be invited to our admitted student PhD weekend if you are currently residing in the US. We each year have several international students that are currently here in the States who are invited to visit. It's usually towards the end of February. This year it will be February 20th through the 23rd. You should get your admission result or response by late December, early January. And then after that, we will start inviting students to the spring visit. And what's involved in that is a expenses paid campus visit to UF and Gainesville, obviously. And you will meet with faculty and students in your department as well as other departments, because we do have some group events for the entire college, which gives you an opportunity to meet other students in your potential PhD cohort. And like I said, we will cover all of your costs for flights and mileage, hotels and meals while you're here, and the various events that we hold while you're here visiting campus. So I'm going to pause here and allow some other people to talk. I'm going to reach out to some of our PhD students here. Womboy, do you want to talk about your experience with the spring visit?
Yes. Hello everyone. My name is Womboy. So I was currently I'm Kenyan, but I was residing in the US during spring visit. I visited in spring of 2023, and that was like the best weekend of all the spring visits I attended. I applied to 5 programs, and I will say UF really knows how to put on a good spring visit. That kind of cemented my decision to actually attend UF. Had I not attended the spring visit, I don't think I would have attended UF. I met with faculty, I met with students, I saw how Gainesville was, and I could picture myself living in Gainesville, and that was super helpful with me making my decision. And I loved Gainesville. Like, I did not think I would love Gainesville as much as I did when I visited. So yeah, I think Gainesville, Florida has a lot to offer and a lot to show. And the campus as well is really beautiful. And so if you do decide to apply to UF and you do decide to come to UF, you will not make a mistake. I promise you it's going to be worth it.
Okay, thank you, Womboy. Okay, we'll go ahead to the next slide. We'll transition to what it's like to be, is a good segue from Womboy, what it's like to be here in Gainesville and life as a Gator engineer. So one thing we do offer our students in the Herbert Wertheim College of Engineering is connections to industry. The UF Career Connection Center has a career showcase, which is a really huge endeavor. Our huge basketball arena is filled with companies that come to talk to our students about possible employment opportunities, internships, co-ops, any opportunity that you might think of within those companies. And there's a few examples listed there. I will check with let's check with some graduate students to see if anyone has participated in the Career Connection Center's showcase. Anyone available to talk about that? I think we just had one.
Yeah, I have participated recently, and it's good. Like there are a lot of different companies coming up where you can give your resume and talk with the persons who are already working there and the professionals who are already there. It's good to meet them in person and showcase your talent, I guess.
All right, thank you. And in addition to the college offering and the campus offering a career showcase and professional opportunities for our students, each individual department sometimes offers programs for their students to connect them with industry as well. And I know I'm going to start with SE because I know theirs was last night. So that should be fresh in everyone's mind. Let's see. I'll ask Paula to talk about that. Paula, will you want to talk about Evening with Industry?
Yeah, my internet's been a little bit choppy, so I apologize if I'm in and out. Hopefully I can get through right now without any issues. But yes, it was last night. It was a long 12 hours for me and Nancy, my supervisor. But yes, we had a lot of companies come out, almost 100. We did have some cancellation, but we had about more than 200 students come out as well. And a lot of those companies have our alumni. So they will graduate from our programs, go on to work with these companies, and then come back and recruit for the companies. And so it's a really cool cycle to see. And it's a lot of engagement that we have with our faculty, our staff, our students, our alumni.
Yeah, thank you. Christina, do you want to talk about the CISE Career Fair Development Workshop?
Yep, thank you. So CISE has their own career showcase or career fair, whatever you want to call it. It's been called many names over the years. We have it twice a year. We have one in fall, one in spring. It has expanded immensely, and we are now in the I say O-Dome. It's not the O-Dome, whatever it's called. But we have it there, and we had 55 companies come, and we have like 2,200 students that come through. So it's a great opportunity for our students to get jobs or internships. And if you're here, like Martine was saying, you have to be here for 2 semesters before you can be eligible for an internship. But we encourage our students to attend just to kind of get an idea of what they're looking for. So when you are ready to talk with them and talk about internships, then you'll be better prepared and know what they're looking for. So yeah, so ours is pretty amazing.
Great,
Thank you, Kristen.
Of course. Jordan, would you want to say a few words about the ISE Career Fair?
Yeah, sure. So that is an event that we hold annually in the fall semester. And we just had ours at the end of September. So about 8 weeks ago or so. And yeah, we have companies that show up, both offering for professional positions, but also internship opportunities. Companies such as Accenture, Carnival, PepsiCo, P&G. So we do have a number of companies that do join us, and it's a good opportunity for those kind of on-hands opportunities for students.
Thank you. Brittany, would you like to talk about MAE and their events?
Yeah, absolutely. So we offer an internship course, which is a 3-credit-hour course that's letter graded that can count towards your degree requirements. So if you have any additional questions about internship courses, please feel free to send me an email. And then we also offer our webinar for industry insights, where you can meet with us and discuss what kind of opportunities are available after graduation, and kind of talk with some students as well, and how they have also found other ways to get into industry post graduation. So again, if you have questions, please feel free to reach out.
Thank you. And I can talk a little bit about the BME Industry and Alumni Connect. Those are 2 separate events with the same goal, essentially, which is to connect students with industry. We bring in industry representatives for Industry Connect, which I believe is typically held in the fall, and it's exclusive to our students. So we set up space for them in the Biomedical Sciences building for them to connect with students. They hold interviews, they accept resumes. Usually about 10 to 15 companies in the biomedical space will attend and speak with our students and let them know all the projects that they're working on and what availability and opportunities they might have for undergraduate and graduate students. And Alumni Connect is also, the point is to connect our students with industry, but it's people who have graduated with a bachelor's, master's, or PhD in BME who are currently working in industry. So we bring our alumni back to talk to our current students and explain all of the opportunities that their current company has to offer. If anyone has any questions about that, feel free to reach out to me, or I can give you the contact information for the BME Graduate Advisor, which actually I think will be at the end on one of our slides. Okay, next slide. All right, so if you've already applied and are thinking about coming to UF, you might be wondering about where you would live. And we do have several options for graduate students on campus and off campus. On-campus options I've listed there. I'm not going to go into too much detail. I'm going to ask students to talk about this, and there's some websites for off-campus opportunities and a few suggestions for popular places among international students. Let's see, DePaul, would you like to talk about housing at UF?
Yeah, so I actually mostly live in the off campus. So like I got the on campus, but to me, like I have a good friend circle here. So we actually rented the house together here, and there are a lot of options. Like if we consider the off-campus housing, so it's really great and safe in all sense, I can say. And if anyone has any specific questions, we have also the group, Facebook group, where the students can post about their requirement, like when they are looking for, like some students may look for 3 to 4 months, they want to go for internship, so they want to go for the lead. And so like here, it's very easy to get the information because all people are kind of helpful.
All right, thank you. And most housing, most apartments on and off campus, well, I believe they offer roommate matching. So if you're coming by yourself and they want a specific type of roommate, you can submit preferences to the complex. They will try and match you with somebody either maybe from the same country that you're coming from or from the same institution that you're coming from, same program. So there are opportunities to live with people that you are most comfortable with. Okay, next slide. Okay, so when we're not in professional mode, we all need to have a little fun. So this is my favorite slide to talk about, the things to do outside of the classroom and outside of the lab. And there are so many opportunities for students to get involved in student organizations on campus, if it's, you know, from attached to your home country, your discipline, a hobby. There's so many different sports. There's so many different things to get involved in. And that's a few examples there of some of the engineering focused groups that we have on campus. A lot of students in different departments set up intramural sports teams. I know BME, I think, has a soccer team. Some other departments might be doing some other different sports, maybe softball, I think is one, and volleyball. There's some nice sand volleyball courts here on campus that are really popular with students. If you are into the organized sports on campus, we have a big Division I sports scene. I encourage students, if you haven't experienced a Division I football game before, to try it out at least once. It's definitely something to experience. A lot of people gathered in one space. About half of Gainesville packs into our stadium and cheers on the Gator football team. Off campus and actually on campus, there's a lot of nature opportunities. So there's a lot of trails even on campus that wind around in between the buildings, and some little creeks on campus. You might see some alligators. But off campus, there are freshwater springs that stay nice and cool over the hot summers that are really popular with students. You can go tubing, swimming, a lot of state parks around. And of course, we're close to two oceans. So there's a lot of beaches that are really beautiful in Florida to visit. Elif, would you like to talk about things that you are or you have done on campus or off campus?
I think I can say that Gainesville.
Oh, I don't think I can hear you. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Sometimes my AirPods isn't working. Sorry.
Okay.
I can start. So hi everyone. I can easily say that Gainesville has a lot of things to do. So for me, I really like outdoor things. For example, I like biking, and Gainesville is very bike-friendly city. So like majority of the roads has bike lanes, and there is also like a lot of nice trails that you can go for biking or also for hiking. And the location of Gainesville also is great. It's close to both the east beaches and the beaches on the west. So if you like swimming or tubing, there are also lots of things, like lots of beaches or springs to do to go. Other than that, I also like performing arts, and I want to say that UF also has a performing arts center. They're either weekly or bi-weekly, I guess, like some shows, ballet or opera, like these kind of events that I really like joining. And it's also pretty affordable for students, UF students. And other than that, there are also like nice restaurants to go with your friends. So that's all.
All right, thank you. Okay, moving on to the next slide, which leads into what Elif said, things to do around Gainesville and a little bit further away. So as Elif mentioned, there's some local restaurants and breweries that are really nice to go to. A nice arts and culture scene, whether it's on campus or off campus. There's local theater, dance companies, art museums, a lot of different things to do in this relatively moderately sized town. So you would be surprised. Not too far away from the Atlantic Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico, as I mentioned, just about an hour from the Gulf and a little over an hour to the Atlantic. And then a couple of hours to Tampa and Orlando, where all of the theme parks are. And Tampa is a nice bigger city with more restaurants and nightlife to experience. Same for Jacksonville. They have a nice beach and bigger city with a little more things to do. Next slide. Okay. Last slide for me, I believe, is a summary slide, just what we would like to leave you with. Why would you want to choose UF for graduate school? So I hope we've demonstrated a world-class research-intensive environment. But in addition to that, we also prioritize our students and their professional future, and we provide connections for them, as many as we can, to ensure success during and post graduation. We hold department exclusive events for our students that are discipline specific, so they get as much interaction with future employers or alumni that can expand their network. We have student organizations that provide a sense of community here at UF and expand your relationships outside of the department to other students on campus and other faculty and staff on campus. We have a bustling campus life with sports, nature, arts, culture, and the university is close to a lot of exciting things around Florida and lots of lovely beaches. So all of this together makes up UF and makes up the Gator Nation. And we're really excited that you are considering us for graduate school. I'm going to ask one more student to speak. Jasmine, would you like to say a few words, maybe some advice for PhD applicants or things that you would like to share?
Sure. So some words of wisdom I can share are, your experience is what you make it. For those coming from overseas, from a different country, it can be scary being in another country by yourself. I'm from the US, but I'm not originally from Florida. I don't have any family in Florida. It's just me and my son. And so I have to lean on my support system, which is my advisor, who's also one of my mentors, and the relationships I've built with people since I've been here at UF, just to make the days a little bit easier. So do take advantage of the different, groups that there are for you to connect with those who may be from similar countries. And also UF has different resources, especially health and wellness, mental wellness, things of that nature. And they also do offer support if times get hard, because the PhD process goes up and down. So if you ever find yourself in a bind or need help, UF does have resources available to students so that they can help you. My experience has been great. Yeah, I don't know what else to say.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next slide.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Krista. So we've gone a long time today. We only have 10 minutes or less that's left. We've answered lots and lots of questions, over 170 questions. So hopefully this has been very helpful for all of you. Here are all of the graduate staff, those that are online today and those that couldn't make it, and their direct contact information so that you can follow up. I'll ask Krista or Dallas now to look over to see if there was any pressing questions that we should respond to or topics from today. Wuchu, are you online still? I know you've been answering a bunch of questions. I don't think you've had a chance to talk. If there's anything you'd like to say for the prospects and applicants online.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I'm first year and my first semester now, so I don't know very well, but anything, but yeah. So if there's one thing I can say is that you don't have to be afraid. So most of faculty and staff will tell you very kindly and answer your questions. And also the Gainesville and also UF is better than, it is better, it is good place to live, and I don't have any regret about choose the UF.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thomason, I don't think you had a chance to speak. Would you like to provide any guidance or highlight anything for those online? Is he still with us? Okay, maybe he had to move on. Okay, we will move on to see if there's any questions now. There was lots and lots of questions in the chat about application fee waivers. Here are the two links again. If you've not filled out one of these and you have not applied, then do that. These are automated, so you will get the application fee waiver. Some people the exact same day, and then others, it might be a department that's making a decision you would hear on a different time frame. Okay, Krista, are there some topics you think we need to hit again from the questions?
It looks like everything has been answered. We do have one person with their hand raised, though. I don't know if we want to open for questions via.
I don't think they can speak, but if they can type their question in somewhere, then that would
We
be
can allow them to talk if we want to.
Yeah, I think we should stick to the questions on that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so if you
Yeah.
have your hand raised, please type your question in and we can respond to that now as a group. Okay. All right then, are there any other current students online or graduate staff that wanted to hit any last topic in our last 2 or 3 minutes? If so, now's your chance.
Mike, can I just say
Yep,
something real quick?
Go ahead.
I know I talked on it before, but I do need to reiterate because this has been a huge problem for our department as well as other departments. If you're applying to our department, please, again, do not reach out to our faculty. We don't like that. They're bombarded as it is. Here again, if you're a PhD student, master's, it's not applicable. You're coming as a master's student. This is strictly for our PhD applicants. If you're applying to our PhD program, one of the things that I would strongly encourage you to do is when you're doing your statement of purpose is to put the field of interest that you're interested in working under or the professor that you're interested in. And we will make sure that faculty specifically gets your application. Reach out to our faculty. Thank you. Thanks, Mike.
Yep. Anybody else before we wrap up?
Yes, I would like to speak as well, just because I think this is a great opportunity to highlight how different the admission process can be from department to department. So for MAE, for PhDs who are looking for funding via the Graduate Research Assistantship with our faculty, we do strongly encourage you to reach out to our faculty. I know that's like a direct contradiction, but it really just depends on the department that you're applying for. So that's why it's always a great idea to reach out to the department contact directly and ask any questions that you have about the admission process, because it could differ. So again, for the mechanical and aerospace engineering PhD applicants, we do encourage you to reach out to our faculty individually in regards to graduate research assistantships, but we do strongly encourage you to submit your application first. That way the faculty members can go and look up your application materials. So again, if you have any questions about this, please reach out to me. The email is on this slide here, on the second one from the bottom, gradadmissions@mae.ufl.edu. I'd be happy to help.
Yes, that's a very good point. You know, we are a very large university, and among our university is 20 different colleges, and within our colleges are 10 or more different departments. So we have the great aspects of having so much going on and being able to offer everything, but we also have the uniqueness of we're each our own individuals, and each department and group of faculty, they see things and do things differently. So it is important to pay attention to the specific area you're most interested in, because you might have a friend that's also applying here in a different department, and those decisions can be completely separate and completely different. So hone in on the areas that you're looking for. So I think we've used up all of our time today. I'm so happy. This has been just tremendously productive with hundreds of students online and a really good showing for University of Florida. So I hope you found it valuable. You can see that we try extremely hard here. We've all put our best foot forward. We've not hesitated from any question or topic today. We've answered as honestly and straightforwardly as we all can. We've provided you great advice and guidance and recommendations from both the staff that will receive your admission applications and provide those admissions offers to our students that are in the programs right now. It doesn't end here. We will continue to do this all year long through the entire process till April, and then even till next fall when students enroll, or for those enrolling in the spring. So you have all of our contact information. Feel free to stay in touch, and we will stay in touch with you. Thank you for your time today. We know that you're all very talented students, and you have options, and you have lots of options. We're just one school you may be considering. So hopefully we're one of the top schools now, and you'll consider us all the way through the process. So thanks again. The slides and recordings are out there, and we will stay in touch. So take care and have a great rest of your day.
Bye, everybody.
Bye,
Happy
everyone.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, bye everybody.